Most people go through life without ever learning the lessons that build real wealth. Not because they're lazy or lack ambition, no, because the system isn't designed to teach them. From the moment you start earning, the focus is on working harder, saving your money, and staying away from risk. But the most important lessons about wealth, how to grow it, protect it, and make it last, are deliberately kept out of reach for the average person. It keeps multiple generations stuck in cycles of struggling finances. But it doesn't have to be that way. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 15 lessons the average person never learns about wealth and how you can make sure that you are not one of them. Welcome to Alux, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Number 1. The goal of wealth is freedom, not stuff. Most people chase luxury because it's what society glamorizes. A flashy lifestyle looks good on Instagram, but does it actually make life better? A car loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. A closet full of branded clothes won't pay your bills or give you peace of mind. Material things can't give you what truly matters: control over your life and time. Society constantly equates wealth with luxury because it fuels consumerism and drives economic growth. It keeps people focused on what they don't have, and that keeps them in the game of working, earning, and spending. When you have control over your money and time, you breathe far more easily. It's peace of mind and freedom that really makes you feel wealthy. It's not tied to things that depreciate. It's tied to the freedom they can't take away from you. Your ability to choose how you live and what you pursue. When you focus on freedom instead of accumulating things, everything changes. You stop spending just to impress others and start investing in what gives your life meaning. Wealth isn't a stack of cash or a collection of toys. It's the power to own your time and spend it how you want. Chase after that, and the rest will follow. Number 2, your time is a non-renewable asset. The majority of the world is stuck in a system that rewards trading hours for wages. They plan their life based on the idea that grinding harder will eventually set them free. And far too many people learn too late that time is more valuable than money. Every hour you spend working just to get by is an hour you can't get back, no matter how much you're paid. Wealthy people understand this early. They see time as the ultimate currency, not dollars or cents. They know that every minute has to be packed with multiple income streams coming in. If you waste your time on low-value tasks, you're putting a discount on your most valuable asset. Using your time wisely means investing in things that multiply your freedom. Learning high-impact skills, building passive income streams, and surrounding yourself with growth-minded people become your priorities because they give you something money can't: control over your life. If you don't take control of your time, somebody else will. Number 3, wealth comes from ownership, not wages. We are taught that the safest path to a good life is through job security and a steady income. But there's a ceiling to wages, one you'll never break by working harder or longer. You have to build your wealth through ownership, not just through earning by the hour. When you own assets like businesses, real estate, or investments, your money works for you, not the other way around. It grows while you sleep, creating passive income and equity that compound over time. The average person spends decades trading hours for money, but those hours are finite. Ownership is limitless. The education system conditions people to rely on a paycheck instead of taking a calculated risk to build something bigger. If you don't have a plan for ownership now, then you'll struggle in the future. You don't have the bandwidth to keep working at this pace. So while you do have the energy to work and plan your way to ownership, you should use it. You can't just create income for today. It'll push too much pressure on your future self. Instead, see ownership as a gift to your future self, a relay baton that you can hand over smoothly so you can keep on moving without constantly worrying. Number 4, compound interest is the closest thing to magic. Compound interest is like magic, okay, but the average person isn't taught about it because consumer culture pushes immediate rewards over long-term savings. Its benefits feel intangible because they take time to materialize. There's more profit keeping people reliant on debt than there is encouraging them to invest. And generational gaps in knowledge mean that most people only learn about compound interest when they go searching for financial knowledge. If you invest $100 a month starting at 20 years old, by the time you're 60, you're sitting on over $500,000, assuming a modest return. Now, imagine starting at 30. You'll have less than half of that. Time isn't just money, it is exponential growth. Most people miss this because they're focused on short-term gratification. They spend instead of save, thinking they could catch up later, but without compound interest on your side, you lose decades of growth. Number 5, inflation erodes savings. Look, saving alone isn't enough to build wealth. You're taught to stash money in a savings account thinking it's the safest place for your hard-earned cash. But that money loses value all because of inflation. It's like a slow leak in a tire. By the time you notice, it's already too late. If you save $10,000 and inflation runs at 3% per year, in 10 years you don't have 10 grand, you've got $7,400. You can't keep your cash idle while prices rise, yet nobody seems to talk about this in a way that feels urgent. Wealthy people don't let inflation eat away at their money. They understand the need to grow their wealth faster than inflation. Stocks, real estate, and other appreciating assets are their go-to tools. These aren't just investments, they're shields against losing purchasing power. Number 6, frugality is a tool, not a lifestyle. One of the biggest mistakes the average person makes about wealth is believing they can save their way to financial security. Saving builds good habits, sure, but as with everything, the pendulum can swing too far. Societal norms and traditional financial advice glorify saving, right? People are taught that cutting costs is virtuous and safe, while investing or scaling your income is risky and out of reach. That's why we romanticize living a frugal lifestyle, which can actually do more harm than good. Frugality should be a tool that you use, not your end game. If you overuse it, you'll trap yourself in a mindset that makes real wealth impossible. Saving gives you a foundation, but from there, you need to grow, my friend. You need to find ways to increase your income, investing in opportunities and scaling your efforts. Depriving yourself can lead to burnout and a scarcity mindset that keeps you away from bigger opportunities. Number 7, debt can be a tool or a trap. The usual debt education focuses on fear, not strategy, so the average person only hears about debt as a danger, something to avoid at all costs. Consumer debt, like credit cards or payday loans, those are a trap. It locks you into paying for things long after they've lost value, like a $1,000 TV that ends up costing $2,000 with interest. But good debt, like a mortgage or a business loan, is different. It's leverage, money you borrow to buy assets that grow in value or can generate you income. That's how wealth is built. When you understand the difference, you stop avoiding debt altogether and start using it to your advantage. The right kind of debt isn't a burden, it's a stepping stone. Remember, if your debt funds something that grows in value or generates income, it's an investment. If it funds something that depreciates, well, that's a liability. Number 8, wealth is built on systems, not willpower. Now, a lot of people don't realize that wealth is built on systems, not willpower, because, well, the idea of automating your finances doesn't really make it into mainstream financial advice, although that is changing. Most of the time, you're told to budget, save, stay disciplined, and nobody explains how fragile willpower actually is. It's unpredictable, it's inconsistent, and stress and emergencies, even a bad day, can drain all of that willpower. If you don't have a system in place to make sure you stick to your goals, then you're gonna stumble. Automating your finances, look, it's not glamorous by any stretch. It doesn't feel heroic and you're not out there making dramatic sacrifices that you can tell your stories about, but that's exactly why it works. Systems take emotion and decision-making out of the equation. You don't have to be in the mood to save or invest, your systems do it for you. Over time, this builds a safety net, it grows your wealth, and takes away the stress of managing every financial detail all by yourself. Number 9, Taxes are a silent wealth killer. Now, taxes aren't taught in schools because the system isn't designed to empower people. It was designed to create workers who comply with the status quo. Teaching people how to reduce their tax liability or maximize their wealth would disrupt the dependency that we have on wages and consumption, and that just doesn't work in a capitalist society. When you don't know how to reduce your tax liability, you lose tens of thousands over your lifetime. And that's not by accident. Schools focus on producing employees, not financially literate millionaires. So lessons on how to manage your taxes don't even feature in the curriculum. And without understanding the rules, so many people overpay without even realizing it. You end up giving away money that you could have invested into your future. The wealthy win because they understand how the game is played. They use every strategy they can to keep their money working for them. But the average person doesn't know the rules, so without realizing it, well, they end up playing against themselves. Number 10. Most expenses aren't necessities. The world is designed to blur the line between what you want and what you need. Marketing experts spend billions to make you believe your life won't be complete without the thing that they're advertising. Add to this the lack of financial education, and it becomes nearly impossible for the average person to separate buying something meaningful versus buying something because they feel it is a marketing tactic. A lot of what you spend money on doesn't actually improve your life, okay? It feels great for a week or so, but it adds no real long-term value. The wealthy see money differently. They understand the difference between needs and wants, so they focus on investments and experiences that hold value over time. Recognizing this requires two things: awareness and discipline. And the consumer economy doesn't want you to have them because it takes money out of their pockets. Number 11. Networking is as valuable as hard work. Society has sold everyone on the idea that success is purely about working harder. From school to work, the message is clear: put in the hours and you'll get ahead. But the truth is, wealth doesn't just come from effort, it comes from access. And access comes from connections. Most successful people get to where they are because somebody opened up a door for them. Networking creates opportunities that hard work alone simply cannot. Yet, this also isn't taught in schools. Instead, people are told to keep their heads down, work hard, and hope that somebody notices. But that's not how the real world works. Wealthy people spend time building relationships because they know those relationships will bring them long-term gains. Number 12. Your environment shapes your wealth. The connection between surroundings and success isn't something you're taught to notice because those big changes can look too overwhelming. You grew up believing that your work ethic alone determines your future, but that's only a part of the story. Where you live, the people around you, and what you consume mentally either push you forward or hold you back. The average person doesn't recognize the ways their environment influences their financial habits and mindset. Your environment either reinforces mediocrity or challenges you to do better. Your environment is a mirror, and it reflects the energy, habits, and beliefs you have. Most people don't get this because it's not a tangible step, it's a shift in perspective. It's easier to blame circumstances than to question if your surroundings are limiting you. Changing your environment sets everything else in motion. Number 13. Earning more is the fastest way to build wealth, but to most people it feels distant and inaccessible. Schools once again don't teach high-income skills, entrepreneurial thinking, or how to find great opportunities. Financial education in schools, if there even is any, centers on managing what you already have, not creating more. Society also reinforces this by glorifying sacrifice over strategy. We love the stories of people who made it by skipping luxuries like coffee or vacations, but the conversation of the nitty-gritty details of growing income through negotiations, side hustles, or investments are treated as something that other people do. Cutting expenses has a hard limit, but your earning potential does not. The quicker you learn this, the quicker you can focus on the skills that will bring in that healthy monthly check. Now, there is something more important than earning more when it comes to building wealth. And can you guess what that is? Well, stick with us because that's number 15. Up first is number 14, Scarcity versus abundance mindset. Because even though we live in the most resource-abundant time in history, we're still holding on to the idea that there isn't enough. You have to fight for your piece of the pie and to compete instead of collaborate. But somebody else's gain is your loss. Thinking this way is what keeps you small. It makes you afraid of taking risks, which will eventually stall your ability to build real wealth. A scarcity mindset makes you cling on to what you have, afraid to lose even just a little bit. An abundance mindset flips the script. When you believe there is enough for everyone, you stop seeing others as competition and start looking for ways to grow together. A scarcity mindset is easy because it's ingrained in cultural norms and survival instincts. But it is not the best way to live. Understanding that there's enough to go around for everyone takes a conscious effort, but once you see the world this way, you'll feel safer taking the risks that will get you closer to your goals. And number 15, financial literacy is more important than income. Society puts all of the emphasis on earning more instead of managing your money. They say that if you just get a higher salary, all of your money problems will disappear, but that is a lie. Without the skills to manage and grow money, even high-income earners can find themselves broke. Earning more doesn't guarantee wealth, it only amplifies what you already know or don't know about handling money. Think about professional athletes or celebrities who make millions but end up going bankrupt. Their stories are really not that rare. Earning more feels like progress, sure, but if the money isn't being used effectively, it isn't. Financial literacy changes your mindset from seeing money as something to spend to something that you grow. And that's all we've got time for you today, my friend, but we'd love to hear from you in the comments section, so tell us, what's one thing you know about wealth that most people don't know? Thanks for joining us, and happy holidays, my friend. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, take care.